Good evening. I'm Matt McCall, and I'm from Boerne, Texas, and I too am running for U.S. Congress on the Republican side. And I've met many of you before. I did run twice before against Lamar Smith, and who is a 28 and 30-year incumbent. Some of the Democrats appreciate that I did that. We do have things in common. See you there? Lamar has endorsed my opponent. Lamar's been there 32 years, and I think Chip would like to go about that long. So, but I'm a business guy, and there's a stark contrast between Chip and I on the Republican side, and I appreciate him running, and he's a nice guy, I suppose. I don't really like the people that he's associated himself with that are from Washington, D.C., but there you go. But I have an unusual business. I have an FDA-certified human tissue bank, and I provide human tissue for transplant to the American military in Europe and in Asia. And I'm a distributor. We don't do any processing. That's kind of not cocktail hour talk. But, we help heal soldiers who have been burned and blown up. And I have stood in surgery at Lonsdale Regional Medical Center and watched countless soldiers who have been horribly, horribly wounded. And because of that, particularly, I want to make sure that we don't send our soldiers into war without declaring war. I'm a constitutionalist. We need to get back to our Constitution. I think that is one of the great lessons, if not the greatest lesson, from Vietnam. We shouldn't go to war without declaring war, because our soldiers deserve better than an 18-year war in Afghanistan without really being sure what we're doing. So I bring business experience and real-world experience. I've traveled in 45 countries around the world for business and personal interests. I think I know a good bit about foreign policy. So if you want a guy who actually negotiates contracts, who actually doesn't eat if he doesn't perform, even if it's not to his best interest at times because things have become difficult, then I'm your guy. We need to get back to a place where we do have civility. And we need to agree that the border isn't just about immigration, it's about nationhood. I believe in immigration. I believe in legal immigration. And we can do that. We're a country of immigrants. And I, as a Republican, am tired of being called a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, or whatever, just because I think nationhood and citizenship should mean something. And so, if you want a guy that will fight for those things, if you want a guy that's going to fight for, indeed, the weakest among us, the unborn, then I'm your guy. Because I want to go and fight for our values and go home after 6 years. We don't need a professional political class of people in this country. It's actually an un-American idea. If there's one thing that George Washington taught us, it's how to quit. And you should go and serve and go home. And that's exactly what I want to do. My promise to you is, if I'm elected, I will go for no more than 6 years. That's plenty of time for my opponent to move into this district and to get to know everybody. So, some of us Republicans have a sense of humor. So, indeed, I do live in the district. I live in the house I was raised in. I bought my parents' place, and I live in Boerne, and I'll be returning to Boerne when I'm done. And my opponent does not live in the district. And it does matter to the people of the district. A Washington super PAC is spending $1 million running him and trying to put him into office. Why? I don't understand that. I'm a constitutional conservative. I support the president's policies. I don't necessarily want him to watch my daughters, but I support his policies. And I'm asking for your vote to get us back on track, because I'm from here and I don't just want to go fight for our common values of the Constitution. I want to fight for our interest here in CD 21. We need to get our gas tax back. Actually, I'd like to get rid of the federal tax and let us do it and fix our roads. When I was a child, we had the best roads in Texas. We have a lot of other things that we can work on together. So I'm Matt McCall, running for U.S. Congress in Congressional District 21, Republican side. I'd love to have your votes. And if you go to votematchmccall.com, you can see a lot about the issues. And if anyone from the other side calls you up and tells you that I've withdrawn from the race, well, don't believe them. It wasn't true about Ben Carson either.